New on BullMoon Tarot. Air signs. Hello, air signs. We are coming into Gemini season, and this is an air element. It is an air sign. So we're starting with air today. What's popping out? King of Swords, or I'm sorry, the Knight of Swords, which is very air energy. Swords is energy. Swords is air energy. And we got some more poppers coming out. Now, I would normally throw poppers back in. Okay, you got the Wheel of Fortune, very big energy. You got the Four of Cups and the Ace of Pentacles. Okay, so I see a new opportunity coming in. And you're finally going to look up and see what you want to see and not feel disappointed by it, okay? I put poppers back in because if they're meant to come out in the main spread, they will. And I'm going to give you guys a bigger spread than I have been giving you, okay? That's the Three of Wands. That talks about expectations. So what kind of opportunities are we expecting, air signs? Goodness, that's the Chariot popping out. That's the card for Cancer. Okay, come on, no more poppers, please. Let's go ahead and pull the main spread for Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. One more time. Gemini. Oh. They didn't come all the way out. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. What are the messages for air signs specifically? What are the messages for air signs? One more time. What are the messages for air signs for the season of Gemini? What are the messages for Gemini season for air signs? One more time. What are the messages for air signs? Aquarius, Libra, Gemini for Gemini season. For Gemini season. One more time. Okay. I think this is it. This is the one. Okay. All right, guys. So I'm going to go ahead and give you a 9-card spread coming from the bottom, your underlying energy. Yeah. Underneath that is Judgment. So you've got the Eight of Cups, you've got Judgment, and Seven of Wands. Okay. Now let's do your center row. Page of Wands. The Eight of Pentacles. So you've got 2 8s popping up already. What do you have here? The Magician. Okay. Queen of Cups. 2 of Swords. And the Four of Cups. Okay, so the Four of Cups did pop out in the beginning with the jumpers. And given how many jumpers you were having, it's energy overload. You have only 2 major arcanas right here, the Magician and Judgment, number 20. Number 1 and number 20. Let me look in the screen here and make sure you can comfortably see everything. Of course, my batteries on my camera are like, help me out. 'Cause we're going to see how far we can get. Yeah, okay. It's about as good as it's gonna get, guys, so I apologize for that. I've tried a new setup here, and I'm always trying something new, as I am with this 9-card spread here. So let's go ahead and talk about this. Down the first row, or I should say column, you have the 8 of Cups, the Page of Wands, the Queen of Cups. The second column, you have Judgment, 8 of Pentacles, 2 of Swords. The third column, you have 7 of Wands, the Magician, and the 4 of Cups. The first row, you have 8 of Cups, Judgment, 7 of Wands. Second row, you have Page of Wands, 8 of Pentacles, and the Magician. And your final row is the Queen of Cups, the 2 of Swords, and the 4 of Cups. Okay. Anything from this corner through this corner is from the past. And anything from from this corner to the left is the past, and from this corner to the right is the future. Okay, so this is incoming energy, and this is outgoing energy. Okay. You're done with something in that top row. The 8 of Cups talks about walking away. Emotionally, you're emotionally done with something, and you know what your worth is, and that you're willing to go get it for yourself. Okay. Judgment is about death and renewal, ending old, things are out with the old, in with the new. But Judgment is actually a little more serious. It's more than just death per se. It's death with new perspective and new rebirth. Like, it's more profound, okay? And the 7 of Wands talks about being defensive. What are you willing to protect? And you can see in this card, she's on her, let's see if it'll cooperate with me here. There we go. She's got her wand as a dagger, and she has a shield, and she's on this dragon. But she's got 6 other wands pointed at her. So this is usually about being defensive, and what do you want to fight for? What will you fight for? Okay. And let's go ahead and get you a close-up on Judgment here. And you see the trumpets and the lilies and the spirits in the back. Okay. So this isn't just about death and rebirth. It's more profound. Okay. It's lessons learned from karmic history and karmic lessons. Okay. And here's the 8 of Cups, so you can get a better look at it. Okay, she's got her back turned. She's going to go get her 9th cup, because she knows that she does not deserve BS. And I think there's been a lot of BS in this top row right here, and that's why you are just absolutely done with something. And you are willing to fight for that. Okay, you're willing to pluck up the courage and fight for what's right for you. On your second row, you have the Page of Wands, the 8 of Pentacles, and the Magician. Well, let's talk about the Magician first, because that's coming up more in the present or future energy than it is in the past. And it is the major manifester, okay? I'm going to go ahead and bring it up here for you to see. Okay. He's got his wand is right here. His cup is here. His pentacle is here. And his sword is here. Okay. So he has all the elements. And we were talking, he's the master manipulator. And that's not always a bad thing. Listen, I know manipulation is a much aligned word and much maligned word. And for good reason. However, manipulation at its core is just simply about putting your energy on something or someone, unfortunately. And when you're doing it with the elements that you have at your disposal, that is to say, fire energy, which is creative, passionate energy, pentacles, which is earth, relationships, money, your swords, thoughts, ideas, beliefs, and the way that you communicate them, and then the cup over here, which is emotions. And so whenever you can manifest with those elements, that's where you've got the magician coming from. That's the best way to explain the magician. He can create anything that he needs to create. Or she. He or she. Okay, and that's coming up in the future, on the future side of things right here, okay? Now let's go ahead and talk about the Page of Wands. The Page of Wands is the young person in the fire suit, okay? Think of her like a teenager, and she does what she wants to do, whatever inspires her, and she just goes about and she just has, she does the things that she enjoys for the purpose of enjoying them. She doesn't put any judgments on it. She doesn't have any expectations of anyone. And she can be slightly irresponsible because she's not thinking of all the other fully contextual things that matter in all worlds, right? None of us can do it all at the same time anyway, except for with one exception, this guy. Okay. So, at this heart of the whole matter, you've got the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles is usually referred to as the Apprentice card. Okay? She's steadily working. It's normally a male working on Pentacles, and he doesn't look up. Look at this. Yeah, she's doing the same thing. So, the only difference here is she's working on a spin wheel. Okay? And she's spinning some fabric, some textiles, okay? What's important here is that she's looking down. And she's not looking at anything else, okay? And that's about hard work, diligent hard work, and being so focused on your work that you're not paying attention to really anything else, okay? That's what the Eight of Pentacles says. And coming up in this bottom row, you've got the Queen of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the Four of Cups. So let's talk about the let's get her in focus here. Hang on. I'm doing my best for you guys here. There you go. Queen of Cups. Let's talk about the Queen of Cups. She is the master of emotion. Okay? She is the feminine master or masteress of her suit, which in this case is cups, which is our emotions. So coming from the past in this direction on this row, you were feeling like you had control over your emotions. Okay? Now coming up in the present, right here, or more past to the present right now, which is the Two of Swords. And that talks about indecision. A decision must be made. Seems like it may have already been made, but we'll get there. We'll talk about that. There's the Two of Swords right there. Okay. She's blindfolded, and she's holding up these two swords of truth. Okay. And there's only so long she's going to be able to hold those swords up, because she's got two defining truths, or defying truths. Two opposing truths. That's what I'm trying to say. And at some point, she has to select one. That's why this talks about decision, or I should say indecision. And she's blindfolded, so she can't really see what else is going on. And that's at least the second time I've told you that. The Eight of Pentacles talks about that. Okay. So that's indecision. And then the Four of Cups talks about just basically being disappointed. So she's got all these cups back here. And here's cup number 4. That's really what you need to focus on anyway, is your Ace of Cups, because that's self-love. But the Four of Cups usually talks about just not being thrilled with what options are available to you, and feeling disappointed. And you're not going to, a word of advice, you're not going to manifest happiness if you're sitting in disappointment. You will only manifest what you continue to feel. Okay? So let's talk about what these cards mean in relation to each other. Hopefully it's focused. It is as focused as it's gonna get. Alright, remember I said basically anything from this corner to this corner on this side is the past, and everything from here over is the future, and basically the present being right down the middle. Okay, as the present is just kind of moving from the past to the future. Well, you've got 2 8s and a 4 going this way. Okay, you've got the Queen, the 8, and the 7 going this way. I'm feeling like there's sort of a new direction that you're wanting to chart. I don't see the 2 of Wands out here, but I'm definitely getting that energy. And here's why I say that. Because you've got somebody who in the past was in control of their emotions, was doing what they enjoyed doing for the sake of enjoying it. But there's also the 8 of Cups, which is to move forward towards emotional fulfillment. You know what you're done with. That's what the 8 of Cups is. And then coming down the middle, the present, and the heart of the issue, which is the 8 of Pentacles, which is working, basically, diligent work. You've got indecision on the top and death and rebirth at the top. On the bottom, 2 of Swords on the bottom, and Judgment on the top, which is death and rebirth, with karmic lessons learned. Okay? So, and then over here, you've got disappointment, the Magician, which is, you know, Mr. Manifester, and defensive, 7 of Wands. So, you're feeling maybe that all the work that you've put in, it wasn't for, not all is lost, is what I want to say. It wasn't in vain, okay? But you are making a decision, or have made a decision, and you're not exactly excited about it. Okay? That's what I'm seeing right now. So now I'm going to go ahead and get the Vice Versa Tarot for you here. I have Crystal Visions down as your 9 card. Make sure everything is still in the shot. It is. Awesome. Okay. And remember, all of these decks I have deeply pre-shuffled. And then I still want you to see me, you know, shuffling again. Okay? It's important. Okay, so what are we interested in really knowing right now? Tell me about the heart of the matter, which is the 8 of Pentacles, and sort of this dissatisfaction, this decision and dissatisfaction, sort of this trio right here. Because it doesn't really matter what the problem is, or whatever the decision was, or whether you're disappointed in the results of the decision. Because you have the Magician, and that means you can choose whatever you want. You can make whatever work. So what is it you've been working so hard at? There it is. And it came up like that. Okay, this was what was facing out. This is the Knight of Wands, and it is not the traditional side of the card. This is the traditional side of the card. Okay? I believe, anyway. In any event, you can tell he's got his back facing out and he is moving on. He is going somewhere. And now remember, not all is lost, okay? Because he's not a page. He's a knight. Hang on. How well are you seeing it? Okay. So he's taking some lessons learned. He is a little more mature than the page is. So just because he's going a different direction doesn't mean all the hard work he's done was in vain. Okay? But that's definitely movement. I'm curious as to what this decision was. Is this a decision to move away from feeling lack and having a hard time with it? Okay, so this is the traditional side of the card where he's out in the cold, and it's about lack and poverty of money, poverty of relationships, just this feeling of lack. And so this side, I would say, is the opposite side of that, which would be sort of abundance. But as you can see, he's holding his head in his hands there. So I don't know if he's just still traumatized from the feeling of lack for so long, or if he just doesn't know how to even process being grateful for being let inside. Well, I guess those are, two sides of the same coin there. Because when you have been left out in the cold for an extended period of time, 5 Pentacles worth, then you may actually be traumatized, and it may be very difficult to move forward with any kind of grace. Okay, but we always want to aim for that. Okay, going back to the Magician, if you don't want to manifest defensive energy and disappointed energy, then you're gonna have to choose to focus on that Ace of Cups. Choose to focus on what you love, loving yourself, and doing what makes you feel that love that you are. Only in that scenario will you fill yourself up so much with an abundance of love and creative enjoyment and passionate energy that it will kind of squeeze out that feeling of trauma. Okay? That feeling of lack. So let's keep going. What are we manifesting? What is it we're trying to manifest? Tell me about this Magician, please. What's going on with this Magician? The Ace of Wands. Okay, wow. So, new job, new relationship, maybe a one night stand, but I'm not really seeing much else that would say that, except for the Knight of Wands, because he gets a bad rap for being a playboy, okay? Like the hit it and quit it type, okay? This is definitely about moving forward in a new direction, okay? New creative energy, new project, new something that lights your fire, you know what I'm saying? What's going on with this Judgment over here? This is kind of, I'm interested in understanding the Judgment that we have here. Yep. And we have the Ten of Swords. So that really makes sense, given that it's sort of at the scene of the crime. The end of a cycle. So that's the 20 and that's the 10. Also, you have interesting thing down here to share with you. The Two of Swords talks about a decision, right? Well, fives, which is what came out to clarify it, fives are about change. Okay, and usually when we have to drop a sword and make a decision, we're moving in a different direction. We're being forced to change, and change is never a very comfortable feeling. And then you have 20 and 10 up here. So there's a new cycle of belief that's coming through right here, and you know what you're done with, and you've learned the lessons of the past, and you are not interested in repeating the same mistakes in the future. I think that's maybe why you're hung up a little bit right here. Let's talk about this disappointment. Okay. It's a few too many, guys. If it was just one or two, I would have taken it, but it was more like 8 or 10. So, what's got you feeling disappointed? One more time. There it is, right there. Okay, this is the Hanged Man. That's about new perspective. Completely new perspective, because he's completely upside down. It's also talking about surrendering to what you can't control, and surrendering a negative attitude. You can't move forward in a new direction if you don't know what went wrong in the past and how to avoid making the same mistakes. And so you are being forced to take a time out and surrender to what you cannot control, so that you can have the courage to change the things that you can when you get your back down on your feet again. Okay? Let's talk about this Eight of Cups. What's going on with this Eight of Cups? What do you know that you are emotionally done with? And you have the King of Pentacles. Okay, so you're emotionally done with somebody who's probably coming off as an older person, maybe somebody with plenty of money, somebody who's very stable-ish, stable in, like, on paper and everything. He's a major manifester. I mean, I can give you that, but if you're asking, like, what are you done with, and it comes out with the King of Pentacles, and the only thing I can think of, or I should say the most likely thing here, is that it is a person that you are done with, and that these are the traits that he inhabits. And you just had a popper come out, so let's just go ahead and take it. And it's the Six of Wands, and that's the Seven of Wands right there. So the Six of Wands usually talks about glory days, right? So this is the more traditional side, where he's coming back in with his little victory wreath, right? And these are wands being held up by other soldiers who are congratulating you for returning victorious. On this side, you can see that the victory wreath is actually facing away, and we've got some blood going on these uniforms. We've got the dark sky and the smoke, so this is more dismal. This is coming back from the battle, and you've lost the battle. You lost the battle, okay? and you are not being acknowledged for the work that you put in. Okay, but you don't need other people to acknowledge your work, because you acknowledge your work. You, and not just work, W-O-R-K, but worth, as in W-O-R-T-H. You know, we have to self-validate. And that's really important coming up right here as well, because you cannot expect anybody else to remove that trauma for you. You cannot expect anybody else to, even if they take you in out of the cold, that they will make that pain go away. It doesn't work that way. You have to make a decision to surrender to what you can't control. And you have to make the choice to continue on in a manifesting way. Okay? And if you want to manifest something other than lack and disappointment and frustration, then you have to focus on what brings you joy. And then fill yourself up with that so that you can drive out that feeling of lack. Okay? Let's go ahead and get you a postcard from Spirit. Dear you, there is only one you, and you have a unique place in the universe. Sometimes situations come up that challenge you to be authentic, and that means you have to be fully yourself and let go of being what you think others may want. Now is not the time to conform to other people's standards or expectations. Be proud of who you are and be courageous. Stand tall in your convictions. Being yourself is a powerful statement that will only lead you to success and ultimately happiness. Don't compare yourself to other people. Want what you have. Choose what your heart wants. And know that your purpose is yours alone. No one else can claim your magic nor take it away. When you place authenticity and originality high on your list of priorities and give them a prominent place in your awareness, extraordinary things will happen. Your life is a beautiful one. Love you always and forever. And I think that goes really hardcore with what we're talking about here. We're talking about, disappointment, letting something go, refocusing our energy so that we can manifest what we want instead of what we don't want. And that's very important, because if you're focused on what you don't want, you're just going to manifest more of what you don't want. If you fill yourself up with what you enjoy, what you love, right, that's what will continue to come to you. And so it says right here, nobody can take your magic, claim your magic or take it away. Choose what your heart wants. Want what you already have. That is to say, don't envy others for what they have. Be grateful for what you have. And when you inhabit gratitude, you will multiply gratitude. Okay? When you place authenticity and originality high on your list of priorities and give them a prominent place in your awareness, extraordinary things will begin to happen. And so that's talking about shifting your priorities and really giving them the energy and the focus and the effort that is required. That was a pretty good reading, guys. That's all I have for you guys today. Have a happy Gemini season, and I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. Thanks so much. Bye-bye. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you in the next video.